Let f of x equal x plus 4 all divided by 8. In part 1, we're asked to make a numerical representation of f for x equals -3, -2, -1, and so on until we reach 3 by completing the table below. Let's first of all start by filling in the first column. We have the x value is -3, so what we'll need to do is to find f of -3. In order to find f of -3, what we need to do is to substitute -3 for each x in the formula. So we'll have -3 plus 4 all divided by 8. Well, -3 plus 4 is 1, and so we end up with 1 over 8. So in the first box, we write 1 over 8. To find f of -2, use the same process, substitute -2 for each x, and we get -2 plus 4 divided by 8, and that is equal to 2 over 8, which reduces to 1 over 4. So when x is equal to -2, f of x is equal to 1/4. We could continue this process, but I do want to demonstrate how using a graphing calculator can be an efficient tool to help you do this efficiently. So on your graphing calculator, the first thing that you want to do is to enter the function into the calculator. The way that you do that is to go to y equals and enter the formula x plus 4 divided by 8. So you go to y equals, enter x plus 4, all divided by 8. Now notice that because there are two terms in the numerator, it's very important to put the numerator in parentheses as you're entering the expression into the calculator. So the quantity x plus 4 divided by 8 goes into y equals. Remember that y is the same as f of x. And once you have the equation in the calculator, the next thing that you want to do is to create a table of values. So to create the table of values, you want to go to Table Set, which is second window. So you hit second window, and that will take you to Table Set. For the table start, you'll want to enter -3 because that's the first value of x in the table. And then for the table increment, you'll want to set that at 1 because the x values are going up by 1. X is -3, and then -2, -1, 0, and so on. The x values are going up by 1. Also, make sure that the independent and the dependent variables are on auto so that your table will be automatically filled in. Once you've set up the table, you're ready to view the table. Table is in blue right above graph, so you'll hit second and then graph in order to create the table. You'll notice that the values in the table are given as decimal values rather than as integers or as fractions reduced to lowest terms. So you may want to write these decimal values down and then convert them to fractions as follows. You'll go to the home screen, you'll go ahead and quit. and then enter the decimal. The first one was 0.125, and then go to the Math menu and select option number 1, which converts it to a fraction, and you'll see that it gives you the fraction 1 over 8, which is consistent with what we had before. And then just continue that process. Enter each decimal value, go to the Math menu, and then select Convert to Fraction, and it will convert it into the fraction. So we have 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, and you might notice a pattern there that the first one is 1 over 8. The second one is 2 over 8, but reduced to lowest terms. The second one is 3 over 8. The next one will be 4 over 8, and so on. So let's go back to our table and fill in the remaining values. The first one was 1 over 8. The second one is 2 over 8, which reduces to 1 over 4. The next one will be 3 over 8. The next one will be 4 over 8, but 4 over 8 reduces to 1 over 2. The next one will be 5 over 8. The next one will be 6 over 8, and 6 over 8 reduces to 3 over 4. And then finally at 3 we'll have 7 over 8. In part 2, we're asked to choose the graph below that is the graph of f in the window -6 to 6 with an increment of 1 by -4 to 4 with an increment of 1. So these numbers here, the first -6, this is referring to the x minimum. The 6 is referring to the x maximum. And the 1 corresponds to the scale along the x-axis. And then similarly, in the second -4, 4, 1, the -4 stands for the y minimum, and the 4 stands for the y maximum. So if you're using your graphing calculator to sketch a graph of the function, what you'll want to do is to go to Window and enter the appropriate values to create the size viewing window that we want. So go to Window, for x minimum enter -6, for x maximum +6, for x scale 1, for y minimum -4, for y maximum +4, and for the y scale 1, and then when you're done, hit Graph, and you'll see the graph that's shown here. And then now we can go back and match it up with the appropriate graph. Notice that our y-intercept is positive and the line is increasing, so we want to select the graph with a positive y-intercept and that is increasing. And we see that the graph that matches is here in D. It has a positive y-intercept and the line is increasing, so D is our correct choice.